I was just, blind light here, and I guess I'm talking to Rumble, maybe YouTube, depending on how the rest of this video goes. Just watching Vivek Ramaswamy being interviewed by CNN, and I would say for 10 minutes the host asked him about January 6th. And as soon as Vivek started going into facts surrounding that event that are not reported in the media, the host began nonstop interrupting him. And then Vivek would not back down, and basically it turned into practically a shouting contest, both sides trying to make their points, neither side effectively doing so. What occurs to me is when we get interviewed by the mainstream media, those people that are going to lead this movement politically, you millennials and possibly the next higher up, I forget their name, Generation X, I really can't remember. The boomers are probably not going to be, Trump may be elected, but I'm really thinking about what we have to do in this country is the people that are standing for reinforcing the nationalism that is the United States of America. Because let's make no mistake about it, the powers that be, along with the people who rule us in our government, are undermining nationalism on purpose, undermining the quality of government that we are receiving. And they're doing so that they will be able to have an excuse, maybe scare the public, but have a reason to bring in new laws, which brings us one step closer to unifying maybe first countries in the Western Hemisphere, then countries with maybe America with NATO, which would be called a literal union. You know how Europeans can't do anything anymore because the European Union doesn't pay any attention to them? Same thing's happening over here. But we would be lumped together at some point, maybe. I'm not sure if there will always be an East-West divide, but there is reason to think that the United States and Europe, both undergoing the saturation of third world peoples into the countries on purpose by the powers that be, against the will of the majority of the people that be. That goes back to the idea that nationalism is under attack. Even though they'll let you do some slogans every once in a while, they'll pretend that the United States has to save the world as a national war unit. They are really trying to bake the whole cake as one cake. The people that think that they have a right to rule over us, even though we haven't elected them. And make no mistake, to get rid of the Goy kings in Europe, they sold the people with the idea of a republic, a democracy, socialism, all with the presumption that the people would rule themselves. This is if it's an illusion, they sold us the illusion as fact. So we're playing that. We have a right to play that illusion that they sold us. They made us get rid of our individual kings, or they tricked us into getting rid of our individual kings. They gave the kings a bad reputation, just as Eastern Europeans who came over here at the turn of the century, 19th century, they gave Russia a bad reputation, which then has led the way to us allowing the Russian Revolution to take place, which got rid of one of the last Goy kings. And yes, I understand that England still has a king, but he has no power. He doesn't rule by fiefdom. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have good rulers. The problem with kings is eventually in the ancestral heritage, you're not always going to have a good king. But if you do have a good king, nothing's more effective than a good king who loves the people he rules over. Now, Vivek was addressing January 6th. They brought it up. They wouldn't allow him to answer the question when he wasn't flustered. The idea about bringing up January 6th is 9 out of 10 politicians get flustered with that and say things that are good for the deep state. Vivek Ramaswamy knows this and has the intellect to say things good for us. And when he starts doing that, then they start interrupting because they don't want the general public to hear any of that. Well, what I would like our leaders to start considering is when they bring it up, when they start interrupting, the next time you get a chance to get a word in edgewise, say, if you really want to argue out January 6th, let's have a debate. Our side, the new Republicans, will lay out our case. Your side can lay out your case, and then we can debate the issue. Guess who won't want to do that debate? The other side. Just as the left tells their underlings never to get into debates with us, the mainstream media knows never to get in debates with anybody representing our movement that can continue to represent it under pressure without compromising. So I don't expect them to do this, but we need to keep asking for them to do it, and hopefully done on a mainstream platform. At some point, the people's cries will have to be heard. Anyway, that's the hope. As an aside, I'm following college football turning into a pro sport. It's not nice to see. No college team can maintain any kind of continuity from one year to the next. This will give rise to making it harder for an Alabama to continue to dominate the sport, as they have been for 15 years in a row, because basically players will opt in for getting rich over going to the best team. Probably more than 50% of the time. They'll like to get both. But if one gets challenged, I believe, as this system really kicks in, the players will more and more opt to get rich, give in to greed, forget about loyalty. What have you done for me? The management doesn't care about me. Why should I care about the management? All the arguments given to any group that is looking for a reason not to get along with the other group that they have traditionally worked with. This, I had to wash off my shirt. I had some stains on the shirt. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm a drooler, and no, I can't drool this good. And let me see if there's anything else to share with the people. We're in a dire situation in this country. I don't know what's going to happen as election day approaches. Likely some false flags will occur to further cloud any issue of getting a fair election. This is what happened before 2020, and Trump's a bigger threat than he was in 2020. All the things that they're doing to prosecute Trump is making him more popular with the public. Probably a fair number of people in the mainstream that still watch the mainstream news and haven't really found too many alternative sites are able to see for themselves that these prosecutions are ridiculous. Still, a lot are not, and a lot may depend on if America can begin to wake themselves up, the ones that haven't woke up. Because what do we have, 20% of the country's awake, maybe? They have they'll hold the keys to the gates that have all the weapons. We will have to get our messages into the militaries enough to where if they begin to attack the people, that some sabotage against them will occur by our military who are supposed to protect us. But we are in a dire situation, folks, and I hope we can work our way out of it. And with that, thanks for listening. Y'all have a great Friday tomorrow and weekend after that. Y'all take care.